how Murarbaji fought bravely. Muradbaji incomparable valor. Seeing Diler Khan, Muradbaji asked his troop to attack in full force and himself advanced towards Diler Khan. Whoever tried to obstruct him was cut out to the piece. जो भी उसको obstruct कर रहा था, जो भी उसके सामने आता था, उसको कैसे करता था? Cut to the pieces. The Mughal troop at last surrounded Murarbaji. तो मुगल ट्रुप ने क्या कहा? ये ऐसे ही फाइटिंग करता रहेगा मुरारबाजी तो हमारे ट्रुप्स तो पूरे मर जाएंगे. Who was thinking this? The Mughal troop was thinking this, and Diler Khan was watching, sitting on the elephant's back. Okay, the Mughal troop at last surrounded Murarbaji. Mughal troop ने क्या किया? पूरा मुरारबाजी को सराउंड किया, आजू बाजू से पूरा उसको घेरा डाला, और he was standing in the middle, and beside him all was standing who? Mughal Empire surrounded Murarbaji on all these sides. Just then Diler Khan shouted, ऊपर से आवाज आई, wait, hold back your sword. Who he said? Diler Khan said this to the Mughal troop. किसको बोला Diler Khan ने? To the Mughal troop. He said to the Mughal troop. The Mughal troop halted and moved back a little. वो लोग रुक गए और थोड़े से पीछे आ गए. Then Diler Khan addressed Murarbaji. Until now I have not seen a short man like you. अभी तक मैंने ऐसा तलवारबाज नहीं देखा है जैसे तुम तलवार करते हो, चलाते हो. You come over to our side. आ जाओ मेरे साइड में, तुमको मैं एक जागीर दूंगा. Who said this? Murarbaji. Sorry, Diler Khan said to the Murarbaji, means he is giving a rishwa to the Murarbaji. उसको बोल रहा है मैं तेको ये दूंगा, सोना दूंगा, पैसा दूंगा, तू मेरे साइड में आ जाओ. Okay? I promise you complete safety. I will give you complete safety. Dharma Shivaji Maharaj say, I will give you safety around that. The empire will make you a Sardar. हमारा जो औरंगजेब है उनको क्या बनाएगा? सरदार बनाएगा. इन कोर्ट ऑफ औरंगजेब. ओके, he will reward you with a जागीर. उनको वो क्या देगा? जागीर देगा. His eyes red with anger. Whose eyes became red with anger? Murarbaji's eyes became red with anger. Murarbaji said in return, we are the loyal servant of Shivaji Maharaj. जा तुझे जो करना है वो कर ले, मैं शिवाजी महाराज का लॉयल सर्वेंट हूँ, वफादार हूँ. Who wanted to buy safety from you? मुझे नहीं चाहिए तेरी सेफ्टी विफ्टी, मुझे नहीं चाहिए तेरे, मुझे नहीं खरीदना है तेरी सेफ्टी. Why should we come over to your side? क्यों आऊं मैं तुम्हारे साइड? And who wants your empire's जागीर? और किसको चाहिए थी हमारी जागीर? मुझे तो नहीं चाहिए, तू ही रख तेरे पास. He then moved forward in the direction of Diler Khan and again started attacking. He said this, everything was said by the Murarbaji to the Diler Khan. I don't want your Jagir, I don't want your safety and all that. I am not going to come to your side. Okay, children? Who said this? Diler Khan. Murarbaji said to the Diler Khan. Okay. Diler Khan, who was sitting in the hotel on the elephant's back, released an arrow. वहां पे उसको गुस्सा आ गया कि बाजी मेरा नहीं सुन रहा है. तो उन्होंने क्या किया? दिलेर खान ने वहां से ऊपर से एक एरो छोड़ दिया. जहाँ पे वो बैठा था एलिफेंट के बैक के ऊपर, उसके पास वो एन एरो था उसके पास. उसने वो एरो छोड़ा और मुरारबाजी के नेक पे जाके लग गया. Where? On the neck of Murarbaji. Bridge of neck. Okay, on Murarbaji's. See. Murarbaji fell to the ground. Murarbaji fell to the ground. His followers lifted his dead body and took it back to the upper fort. उसके फॉलोअर ने क्या किया? उसको उठाया और ऊपर फोर्ट के ऊपर लेके गए. What if one Murarbaji is fallen? We too are brave like him. Who was saying this? A Maratha troops was saying this. A Maratha soldiers were saying this. अगर क्या हुआ? अगर एक मुरारबाजी गिर गया, मर गया, हम लोग भी तो ब्रेव है. We will fight with the courage. Saying so, they began to fight again without losing heart. Who said this? The Maratha troops said this. एक मुरारबाजी मरने से कुछ नहीं होता है, हम लोग भी तो lion है. We are also a tiger and lion. We will also fought with the courage. Okay? Shivaji heard the news with a great sorrow. शिवाजी ने ये सुना और उसको बहुत दुख हुआ. He knew that he could hold each one of his fort against the Mughal army for at least more than a year. 1 साल तक उन्होंने वो फोर्ट ये किया. क्या किया? हाथ में रखा अपने. but he was unwilling to do so at the cost of his men who could died in attempt. हम लोग मर रहे थे. Treaty of Purandar. What could be done? अभी कैसे पुरंदर ट्रीटी कैसे फोर्ट को बचाया जा सकता है? He was not strong enough to fight the powerful Mughal. That time Shivaji was not having so much of troop with him to fought with the Diler Khan, to fought with the Mirza Raje. Then what he said, what he did, now see, all his political skill was also of no avail. उसके पास अभी ना political skill भी नहीं था कि क्या दिमाग चलाऊं, कैसे मेरे फोर्ट को बचाऊं and all that. There was only one thing he could do. He decided on a temporary withdrawal from the fight. Temporary withdrawal means हार के फाइट से बाहर निकलना. ये वो व्हाइट पीस का झंडा लहराते हैं ना हम लोग, पीस ऑफ पीस, that white color flag we are doing, like that. He could enter into a treaty with the Mughal Empire. What he thought, that I will sign a treaty with the Mughal Empire. I will sign a treaty with the Mughal Empire. He went and saw Jai Singh Mirza Raji. This was a very sensible and statesman-like thing to do. He said to Jai Singh Mirza Raji, you are a Rajput. You can understand our suffering. Who said this? Shivaji Maharaj go and meet to the Jai Singh Raji, Mirza Raji. And what he said, Shivaji Maharaj said to the Mirza Raji Singh, that you are a Rajput. Tum Rajput ho. You can understand our suffering. आप हमारी प्रॉब्लम को समझ सकते हो. The empire campaign has laid to the country west and people are in a great misery. हमारा empire पूरा खत्म होने आ रहा है और हमारे peoples में my subject is becoming very misery. बहुत दया नहीं आ रही हूँ. Means उनके ऊपर दया करो, please. दया करो. Misery means दया करना. I have undertaken the task of establishing Swaraj so that people may be happy. मैंने एक टास्क किया था, करने वाला हूँ कि स्वराज को मैं हैप्पी करूंगा, एस्टेब्लिश करूंगा और मेरे पीपल को, मैं सब्जेक्ट को हैप्पी करूंगा. मैंने ऐसा सोचा था. You should join me in this uphill task. Who said this? Shivaji Maharaj given an opportunity to the Mirza Raje that please join with us. I want to establish the Swaraj and make my people happy. If you are agree to lead us, myself and my maulas will be your trusted followers. अगर आप तैयार होते हो हमारे साथ आने के लिए, तो मेरे मावलास और मैं खुद आपके फॉलोअर्स बनने के लिए तैयार हैं. जय सिंह was a straight diplomatic. बहुत होशियार था, बहुत नालायक था वो. Okay, he pursued Shivaji to sign a treaty of peace with the empire. उसने क्या किया? उसने क्या बोला शिवाजी महाराज को? You can sign a treaty with the empire, with the Aurangzeb. Shivaji signed the treaty and according to its term, उसमें क्या लिखा था? देखो, ट्रीटी मीन्स अ पेपर. कोर्ट का पेपर्स देते हैं ना हम लोग, साइन करते कि नहीं तुमको इतना पेपर देना है, इतना पैसा देना है, ये देना है, वो देना है. सेम ट्रीटी मीन्स दैट. 23 forts कितना देना है? 23 forts and a territory with a revenue of 4 lakhs horns. A golden coin. कितना? 4 लाख golden coins देने थे, were to be handed over to the empire. The treaty Purandar was signed in 1665. बेचारे शिवाजी महाराज ने वो साइन कर दिया. अभी कुछ कर नहीं सकते because he was not having a Mughal, he was not having his Mawlas also with him. People were suffering from so much pains and all that. So Shivaji Maharaj did this for the people. After the treaty was signed, Jai Singh suggested to Shivaji that he should go to the Agra and see the empire. What happened? Mirza Raje said he was very, बोलते हैं बदमाश आदमी था जय सिंह मिर्जा राजे. उसने क्या बोला? ट्रीटी साइन होने के बाद, तो प्लीज गो एंड मीट टू द एम्पायर नाउ. एम्पायर मींस औरंगजेब के जाके मिल जाओ. He also granted Shivaji safe return. उसने गारंटी क्या दिया? हाँ मेरे पर गारंटी है, मैं तेरी गारंटी लेता हूँ, तो आराम से वहां से फिर से लौट के आएगा, तू टेंशन मत ले. You can go and meet empire and all that. He knew that the empire will not be trusted. He had proved to his own brother, but in the end, Shivaji decided to take the risk and face the situation as cautionally as he could. He informed Jai Singh that he was willing to go to Agra and to meet the empire. फिर अभी क्या कर सकते हैं? हम लोग जाके मिल के आते हैं. उसे दे शिवाजी महाराज decided to take a risk. Okay, उन्होंने रिस्क लेने की सोची और जाके मिल के आएंगे. इसको और जो होगा सो देखा जाएगा. In the next chapter, we will see that how Shivaji Maharaj gave slave to the Aurangzeb and ran from the Agra and came back to our Pune. He came back to the Pune. This was the chapter. Everyone understood? That Murabaji. Everyone like the video? Yes or no, children?
Study the point. Raid on Surat, siege of Purandar by the Mughal Murarbaji, incomparable valor, Treaty of Purandar. So students, let's start with our lesson. Raid on Surat. After this attempt, Shivaji did not sit idle. Aurangzeb troops were laying waste the whole of Maharashtra. To bring the emperor to his senses, Shivaji carried out his daring raid on Surat. Surat was so far away from Pune that no one but Shivaji could have thought to do this daring raid. Surat was then in a great center of trade in the Mughal Empire and a very rich city. Shivaji carried out the raid successfully and brought him home a boot worth lakh of rupees. Shivaji did not forsake take and raid on Surat. He spread the churches and mosques. He did not disrespect to women. The raid on Surat brought Aurangzeb into a furious rage. He now decided to put an end to Maratha kingdom. He ordered Mirza Raje Jai Singh to humble Shivaji. To assist Mirza Raje in the campaigning, he sent with him his trusted Sardar, Diler Khan. The two landed into Deccan with a huge army and unlimited funds. Swaraj was in real danger. Immediately after his return from the expedition of Surat in 1664 AD, Shivaji Maharaj heard a sad news. Shahaji Raje suffered an accidental death while on hunt. Shivaji and Jijabai were holding his mother close to his bosom. Shivaji Maharaj consoled her. Siege of Purandar by the Mughal army. Purandar was one of Shivaji's big and strong forts. Shivaji could not be defeated as long
Teacher, mute
as he
yourself.
was master of Purandar. He therefore laid siege to this powerful fort. He had a huge army under his command. Murarbaji was in charge of the fort. He was a determined fighter who would not easily yield to threat. He was supported by brave troops. With their help, Murarbaji decided to defeat the fort. Diler Khan's guns went into action. Phoenix balls began to drop on the fort. Murarbaji and his brave men held on. The first bastion of Machi collapsed under gunfire. Diler Khan's troops captured the lower part. The Marathas withdrew their upper fort, continued the fight. Diler Khan was watching the battle from his camp. The furious with rage, Murarbaji decided to attack the Mughal troop with a select contingent of 500 men. He opened the gate on the upper fort, shouting their war cry, Har Har Mahadev. The Mavlas fell on the Mughal troop after a furious battle which lasted for a last short time. The Marathas routed the huge Mughal army which fled towards Diler Khan's camp. Murarbaji followed them into hot pursuit. With his troop, he entered the camp of Diler and brought the war there. The enemy troops were in flight, and Marathas in pursuit. Cries shout filled with the whole camp. The great hurried Diler Khan mounted his elephant and looked ahead. There was Murarbaji hanging the soldiers into pieces. His sword moved like a lightning, cut throats, broke heads, and pressed hearts of enemy. No one could stop him or hold him in a check. Diler Khan watched in admiring his great deeds of bravery. Murarbaji incomparable valor. Seeing Diler Khan, Murarbaji asked his troop to attack in full force and himself advised towards Diler Khan's. Whoever tried to obstruct him was cut to pieces. The Mughal troop at last surrounded Murarbaji on all sides. Just then Diler Khan shouted, "Wait! Hold back your swords!" The Mughal troops and moved back a little. Then Diler Khan addressed Murarbaji, "Until now I have not seen a swordman like you. You come over to our side, I promise you complete safety. The emperor will make you a sardar and reward you with a jagir." His eyes red with the anger, Murarbaji said in return, we are the loyal servant of Shivaji Maharaj. Who wants to buy safety from you? Why should we come over to your side? And who wants your Emperor Jagir? He then moved forward in the direction of Diler Khan and again started attacking his soldiers. Diler Khan was now seated in the head and the elephant back, released an arrow which reached Murarbaji's neck. Murarbaji fell to the ground. His follower lifted his dead body and hid it back to the upper fort. What if one Murarbaji is fallen? We too are brave like him. We will fight with courage. So, saying so, they began to fight again without losing heart. Shivaji heard the news. With a great sword, he knew that he could hold each one of his fort against the Mughal army. For a last more than a year, but he was unwillingly to do so at the cost of his men, who would die in the attempt. Treaty of Purandar. What could be done? He was not strong enough to fight the powerful Mughals. All his political skill was also no avail. There was only one thing he could do. He decided on a temporary withdrawal from the fight. He would enter into a treaty with the Mughal emperor. He went and saw Jai Singh. This was a very sensible and statesmanlike thing to do. He said to Jai Singh, "Mirza Raje, you are a Rajput. You can understand our suffering. The emperor's campaigning have laid to country waste and people are in a great misery. I have undertaken this task of establishing Swaraj so that the people may be happy. You should join me in upholding the task. If you agree to lead us, myself and my Mavlas will your trusted followers. Jai Singh was not diplomatic. He pressured Shivaji to sign a treaty of peace with Emperor. Shivaji signed the treaty of according to his terms 23 forts and 3 territory with a revenue of 4 lakhs horns means gold coins were handed over to Mughal Emperor. The Treaty of Purandar was signed in 1665. After the treaty was signed, Jai Singh suggested to Shivaji that he should go to Agra and see Emperor. He also guaranteed Shivaji's safe return. Shivaji thought over the suggestion. He knew that the emperor could not be trusted. He had proved treacherous to his own brothers. But in the end, Shivaji decided to take risk and face the situation and consciously as he could informed Jai Singh that he was willing to go Agra to meet Emperor. Hope student, you understood lesson well. I'm going.
Okay, children. Now I am to tell you something.